we're going well. I just want to darken again some of those darks because they're just still not quite dark enough for me. I'll take some black and a little crimson, I think, and I want to really darken some of these little bits and pieces around here, like the windows, this section up here I could darken. I just really want to catch deep shadows in some of these areas. And look, don't worry about details, as I said. Let's just suggest a couple of little small little details with the, just a small couple, just a few little darks. I do want to kind of add a bit of interest to the painting, I suppose you could say. And I'm going to separate those sections there with just a little dark, so that they all don't merge together like one piece. Little bit up there. Now we have lots of kind of boat equipment, is that what you call it? Lots of boat equipment lying around. And I suppose, you know, the trickiest part really is trying to make something look like it's really busy and that there's lots going on. And you know something, to be honest, it's a rickety old thing. It's a very old boat, so you know it's going to be very difficult to show any kind of real detail. Let's take some cadmium yellow with the red and some white, and I want to really make this pop here now. Okay, I'm going to just add little touches of that here and there, where the sun might be really catching them, you know. So cadmium yellow with white is a lovely colour for that, creating that lovely glow of the sun. Let's come across here, and we could even add a little just around here. And you don't have to soften it in or anything, you can just leave it as a mark on the boat. Okay, you don't have to go to any great detail. Now that's better, isn't it? You could even go with just white, even a little white on its own as well. Yeah, that's quite nice, isn't it? And we could go with a little kind of a whitey orangey colour around here. Little more yellow, I think, on here. Let me just go right into that yellow, and a bit of red, a bit of crimson even. There. Now we're coming along nicely, aren't we? Right, what next? We have this big thing in the middle, don't we? Let's get that in. I'll just clean my brush, okay? I'll use my medium round kind of a brush for that, because it's a decent thick kind of a brush. And let's get some of this lovely bright colour that we just mixed. Let's try some of that. Perhaps a bit of Naples yellow. And let's go ahead and try and get this in. Let's just go somewhere in the middle, yes? There we go. Okay, very nice. And we have another little bit up over that. Now let's just add a little bit of white here and there to that. Okay. Now I'll take a smaller brush again. So get my nice small brush here, nice and clean. Take some of the real whitey colour and I will go above that. With that whitey colour, and then I'm going to paint in this little piece here. It's coming off of it. Okay, and let's add some darks into that. So we have a little shadow underneath there, and just look kind of roughly where you think the shadows are going to be, and just put a little hint of them, you see, just a little here and there. Alright, and then I get a very pointy brush with some black, and I'll just suggest little loops on that, just there. There's lots of little things going on, isn't there? There we go. We have little ropes coming down. Couple of ropes here and there. Yes. It's not bad. It's not too bad now, is it? And we have a couple of pieces across up there. Again, just suggesting little details, that's all. Sharpen that off just there. Clean my brush again, and I'll pick up some of the Naples yellow, maybe a touch of burnt sienna, and we have like this pipe that comes out here and it comes down at an angle then, doesn't it? Okay, a couple, just bits and pieces. Yes, that's all, just little bits and pieces. Now I might want to go higher with that little spire there, alright? So I'm going to use my palette knife this time because it just gives you a little bit more control sometimes for this kind of work. There, you see? Didn't that just help an awful lot now? And a little across there, just for adding little bits of texture and such. Then I'll take a bit of black with a bit of burnt umber, and I'll add some nice little shadows here and there to this. As they say, just a few kind of details. Not that bad now, is it? Not bad at all. Now I will add just a touch of pink here and there, okay? Just on that. Just as a little detail. And I will add some patches of light colour just here and there. There could be little signs and whatnot. And we have one. Now this actually continues down a bit, doesn't it? But we don't have to fuss about something like this. Let's see if we can just bring it down a little bit. I just mixed a bit of pink and a bit of brown with that. Soften it in. There we go. That's that done. Add a touch of Naples yellow down there. Go and add one or two highlights to this. Now, let's sit back and have a look at this. That's looking pretty nice, I would say. There's something about this section here that's just not sitting well. I'm going to just go over this dark line here with a bit of Naples yellow. I think that shadow should be slightly darker on that side of the cabin. So I'm going to just darken it ever so slightly. Just kind of soften some dark colour into it. We can redefine our windows then and stuff again later. Yes? Now, there we go. And let's just pop a little bit of black in there again. For a window. And we have a little door. And another window. And there we go. That's a little better now, isn't it? Now, it's still not right. I think what's wrong is this line here is following that line, and it just doesn't look proper. So I'm going to go ahead and add a bit to this, make this slightly wider. I think that would really help. And so look, it's our boat, we can do what we like, can't we? Let's add a little bit of white in there. And then I'll darken the top again. How's that? Is that better? See, it's slightly off centre then, that's a little bit nicer, isn't it? Now I'm going to move on to this lovely water that we have. And I'm just going to take a nice small, kind of a medium flat brush. Something that's very nicely worn. And let's get some white. And let's get some phthalo blue. Now I do need a bit of cobalt as well, I think, on that. So I'm going to just take some cobalt. And let me take a bit of cobalt, mix it in there. Again, a little bit of white. Let me just try this colour now. Yeah, that's not a bad colour. I'm just going to go around, just very gently, and bring it across. Now, just fill it in all the way down, look. Don't be fussy. And let's come across. Let's add more white actually to this side. Go around your boat. There we are. Very nice. Now it gets really dark around here, doesn't it? So I'm going to just get some more phthalo blue out of my box. There we go. A nice dollop of phthalo blue. And I'm also going to get some cadmium yellow because we have a little bit of green there. Now the water is so shallow that you're going to see little bits of green, might see bits of seaweed, that kind of stuff. So nice and green as well. Okay, and another dollop of white. And let's go along now and start mixing these colours in. So we've phthalo blue with a little touch of crimson I'm going to add. Okay, and I'm going to start softening that in down here because that's nice and dark down there, isn't it? And I'm going to go even darker. It needs to be really dark now, down here. There, that's better now. And just kind of, this is more or less really, I suppose, putting in the base colour, the undercoat kind of colour. We'll mix lovely colours into this as we go. Okay? So I just want to get this sort of covered in. Isn't that the word? Get it kind of covered in, and then I can start putting in reflections and all that kind of thing. So let's just, come on, let's just go for it. A lot of fun. And I hope you're going to try this at home as well, or something even similar. You don't have to copy this exactly, but try something even a little similar to this. Would be lovely. And I'm going to take some phthalo blue with some black, and I'm going to come down here and I'm going to just kind of flick some of that in here and there, look. And then get more again, because it's wet into wet, it's going to try to sort of disappear very quickly, isn't it? So, come down here, blend some of that in like that. And I need some more phthalo blue again. See, we're going through a lot of blue, aren't we? And I also need some black. See, it's all, none of this is edited, it's all kind of live as I'm doing it. I don't know what's going to happen as I go. Anything can happen. Now, I'm going to switch to my medium stubby brush, the nice little flat brush. And what I'm going to do is start with this, putting in some nice little ripples, yes? Now we have some lovely rich green ones here, don't we? So let's try and get some of those in. Some phthalo blue and a nice dollop of cadmium yellow. That gives us a nice rich bluey green there now, doesn't it? And I'm going to go along at the base of this, and I'm going to just start adding some little ripples of green here and there. So you can see now it's kind of softening into that blue around it. That's one of the lovely things about working wet into wet. You see? And soften it very gently out into that lighter colour. And you can even add a touch of more cadmium yellow just around here if you want to just make a nice greeny kind of ocean. A seaweedy colour. Okay? Just for there. Clean that and then go back into your darker colour again. And let's go along here. So you see, I'm using the very flat edge of the brush, you see? And I'm just going along with the flat edge, flicking it left and right as I go. Now, there we are, that's quite nice. And I will take some black, and I'll go in here with some rich black, look. And I'll just kind of soften. I'm almost softening the end of the boat now into the water with this colour, you see? Very, very, very gently. And I might get some phthalo blue with that. So you can see now I'm kind of adding colour on top of colour. There we go, let's bring it out here. Now, clean the brush again and give it a good clean there now, get that green off. I'm going to suggest some of these colours in the water. So basically I'll take some burnt sienna, some crimson and a touch of black. I'm just going to go along and indicate some of these in the water, alright? Get some more crimson there, perhaps a touch of white. See? I'm just kind of pulling the colour through that blue. But I'm not mixing it too much. Understand? It's just kind of a hint of colour, that's all. Let's try some Naples yellow with some pink. How about that? No, that's a nicer colour, isn't it? We get some pink up here, some nice crimson, and let's get some crimson, there's some Naples yellow, and let's do the same here. See, it's just a little subtle hint. I'm not going to go crazy with this, but I will brighten it here for the deck, where it's reflecting the deck. And I'll go along maybe a little bit here as well. So let's get some burnt sienna with some Naples yellow. Let me take a look at that. Yeah, just pop a little bit in there like so. Let's take some crimson actually. And let's suggest a little crimson, just kind of a nice crimsony colour around here. Let's put some of that in. Perhaps a touch of burnt sienna as well. Let's not have it too pink, yes? Now, I'm thinking what I might do is take a little light blue and just let's start getting some nice light blues in over here. Now let's just pull up my sleeves here because I don't want to get paint all over the place. Now I'm just going to, with the tip of the brush, look, just soften some light blue into these, just here and there, look. Now I'm going to just wet this with a little oil because the oil really helps kind of move the paint around, you see. The paint really kind of flows with that bit of linseed oil inside the turpentine. It just makes a big difference, really. There we are. So it's just basically trying to make it look like there's movement on the water, that's all. And I'll soften it off into the distance there like that, okay. And I'm going to do the same over here. Now what I'm going to do over here is take a little phthalo blue and a nice dollop of white. And that will give me a nice kind of a bright glow over here. I want this very whitey blue colour kind of showing through here. There, now that's better. And I'm just kind of, it's almost like I'm kind of hitting and missing the canvas with the brush, you see. I'm kind of just wiggling it across here, a little bit here, a little bit there. And I'm then going to take some phthalo blue again, put a little phthalo blue in there. So now you can see it's starting to look like there's movement on the water. Now I'm only just making this nice and simple. I just do not have the time to go into this type of work in great detail. Now ideally I would kind of take my time and maybe spend even an hour just doing all of this water here, just nice and slowly. But I'm conscious of the time on the camcorder, and bear in mind, the longer I record, the more space it uses and the longer it takes to upload as well. Sometimes I've even recorded tutorials and they haven't uploaded because the files were just too big. No matter what I did, even when I convert them down to a smaller size, they just simply do not upload onto YouTube. So for that reason, I think I might have to make this a two-part tutorial, but it will jump directly from part 1 to part 2. Do you understand? Because at the moment, I'm about an hour in, I think, at the moment, and it's probably about, I don't know, there's probably about 15 gigabytes after being used already on the camera, because it's in HD, 1080p HD, it's high definition, so it uses a lot of storage, and you know, I need to be careful not to use too much, because that'll be a really big file. So that's why sometimes you'll see tutorials in 2 parts. So just bear that in mind, I hope you understand. Right, let me see now, I might, have a look. I think I'll get some nice darks in. I get some a little tiny bit of oil on my brush. Now when I say a tiny bit of oil, I mean the oil with the turpentine. So a little bit of that, a little bit of black, a touch of crimson perhaps, that would help. I'm going to go right in here now and make a nice dark area, just in by that green. And I'm just letting the brush sort of dance around on the canvas, just left and right, and I'm keeping my brush strokes horizontal all the time, left to right, left to right. I'm not going up, I'm not going down at an angle, it's completely horizontal, okay? Just bear that in mind. And a little bit there. See, there we go. I'm going to add a little bit of dark in around the front here. Again, I'll wet the brush very slightly with some of the linseed oil, take some black, take some phthalo blue, and that's a nice rich dark colour there now, and go along here put some of that dark colour in. There, how's that? That's coming on a little bit better now, isn't it? And I'm thinking what I might do is, you see that there's a bit of pink there. I just don't like that very much, to be quite honest. I might just change the colour on that very slightly. I'll take a touch of Naples yellow with crimson. That's still a little pink for me. I'm just going to tone that down very slightly. Just ever so slightly, okay? A little hint of it over here. It's just to emphasise the colour of the boat, that's all. And we could pop in, we clean that brush again, I'll pop in a little bit of Naples yellow with some burnt sienna, and I might just put in little suggestions of that just here and there, look. Just to capture some of these lights as well. Okay, just like that. See, it's just a hint. A little hint of colour is all we need. And next I'm going to take my palette knife. Now, I want to create just one or two little, almost like little waves, kind of cresting over. So I'll just put, now let me just pull the bottom of my board out slightly, so I can get to the very edge. Now I'm just going to go along, I'm going to go like this. And I'm just sort of adding a little texture to it. Now what I do after that is I'll take a small brush, alright, and I'll just sort of pull that backwards, ever so gently, look. And that just gives the impression of little ripples in the water, that type of thing. Let's go up here and let's add a little bit of water movement to this. So right in by the ship in there, there'll be a little bit around here and there, look. It's just, I suppose, giving it that little bit of shimmer. It sort of sits the boat, the ship down in the water, doesn't it? I'm only just using very small amounts in this now, very little tiny amounts of the white. Now, put that down and then we'll soften it again. Okay, just kind of flick it back into the water. See? Pulling them very gently across. Now, almost there, everyone. Almost there. You could now just kind of go around adding little bits of detail here and there. It's completely up to yourself. I will probably walk away on this, just on little parts here and there. For instance, I do want to darken this right down. It's still a bit bright for me, so a little black and a bit of crimson. And I might just kind of flick a little bit of that just through here and there, look. I just want to darken it down just that little bit, just to give it more of an impact. And perhaps up here also, look. And I go very dark right down in the corner then. And I could even transfer some of that darkness into the water also. So it's almost merging with the water, you see. Just side to side again. Now, how about we add a couple of little seagulls up here? Let's try it, yes? Let's go to this side over here. There we go. 1, 2, and perhaps one more over here. Now you can, as I said, make this your own. You could even maybe add a couple of rocks, that type of thing, if you want. If I had more time I would, believe me. I still might. There's one. And there's two. And pick up another bit of black again. There we go. 3 lovely seagulls. You know, as I was saying, you can go out, just keep adding small little details. Let's put a little chain coming down into the water here, perhaps. You know, bits and bobs, as I keep saying, little bits and bobs. Okay, let's just put a line here. 1 or 2 little small details. You could even kind of go in around the windows as well. So for instance, let's take some light colour and go in around the windows just with a little bit of light. Just have a bit of fun. Yeah? Just don't be afraid to just go for it and have a bit of fun. I'll put a bit up there. There we go. And how was that? There we go. I'm still not happy with all of this section down here. I might do a little bit more on that. Adding a little touch of that rusty colour there, and put a little dark line just across it here and there. A couple more darks. And then let's add a couple of brights. Just here and there, look. Now, last but not least, let's sign our names. S. Conway. And that, my friends, is it. I think that's complete. Okay. Add a little ripple there, line here and there, just to kind of separate some of them. But in general, I think that's pretty nice. What do you think? Now you see, I can go along adding little ripples like that to the water, you know, just giving it more movement, but I just don't have the time to do all of that. It takes ages and ages and ages. So I think we'll just call it finished before I make an absolute mess of it. And job done. Let me zoom in and show you what we have created. So there we are. A nice little ship. Okay? Some nice rich colours. Again, keeping the details very, very simple. Alright? A couple of seagulls up there. Down into the water. Again, I might spend some time with the water just to get it a little more natural. But in general, I think that is a success. What do you reckon? And we'll stick a frame on that and see what happens. I'll stick a frame on that now and I'll show you next week what it looks like with a frame. Yes? I really fixed this. I really enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun. So there's one more thing I need to say. To Rob Carroll, who's a very, very big fan of mine and a follower, and he's a huge, huge support. He sent this to me. Look at this, a lovely little Bob Ross figurine. Isn't that just fantastic? There's Bob Ross and holding his palette and his little brush. Fantastic. Rob, thank you very, very, very much. I appreciate this. It's fantastic. This is going to go high up on my shelf behind me there now, and it'll have pride of place up there. Thank you so, so much. I appreciate that. And also the letter and the other gift as well. So go on, have a go off that now and see what you think, and let me know. If you have any questions, just email me at stephencommon12@gmail.com. If you want little stubby brushes, again, just send me an email. Thank you so much for everyone on Patreon. Tutorial coming very soon for all you supporters. And that's it. Until next week, this is Easy Oil Painting signing out. All the best and happy painting.